There's a town in Pennsylvania that changed its name just to borrow the identity of a dead athlete and built an economy on it. Yeah, that actually happened. Pennsylvania has over 2,500 towns. Most are predictable, historic, quiet, maybe a little boring. But then, there are the ones that don't behave like towns at all. Places where populations collapse without warning, where entire communities exist just to serve tourists, where a town can boom to 15,000 people and vanish almost overnight. What nobody tells you is, the weird ones aren't accidents. They're decisions, experiments, sometimes mistakes that just stuck. And today, we're breaking down a that feel completely made up, but aren't. One has fewer than 50 residents, but handles over 1 million visitors. Another rose and died in under 2 years. And one still profits off a name that was never supposed to be theirs. So let me ask you, you think a town is just a place on a map? Or is it something people can rewrite? And trust me, you're not ready for what's sitting at number 1. Because choosing where you live, that's not lifestyle, that's trajectory. Pick wrong, and you don't just move, you inherit the story. Hit subscribe. Future you will wish you understood this sooner. Alright, let's break it down. Number 5. Ohiopyle. There's a town in Pennsylvania where tourists outnumber residents by about 25,000 to 1. Yeah, that's not a typo. Ohiopyle has a population of roughly 35 to 40 people, but every year, over 1 million visitors flood in. But then, you realize the town isn't built for itself. Ohiopyle sits inside one of Pennsylvania's most popular state parks. Whitewater rafting, waterfalls, trails, and because of that, median home prices? Around $250,000 plus, driven by tourism demand. Local jobs? Mostly seasonal. Hospitality, rentals, outdoor services. Crime rate? Extremely low. Cost of living? Moderate, but income opportunities, infrastructure here, parking lots, roads, services, is larger than the town itself. What nobody tells you is, Ohiopyle isn't a community, it's a system. One visitor said it best. It feels like a theme park, but people actually live here. Here's the trade-off. You live somewhere beautiful. Clean air, nature, constant activity. But your town doesn't belong to you. It belongs to visitors. Weekends? Packed. Peak season? Overwhelming. Your quiet home turns into a rotating crowd of strangers. Imagine living somewhere where your neighbors change every weekend. That's not a town. That's a subscription service. Also, tourist towns have one universal problem: parking. It's never enough. Ever. You live there, pay taxes there, breathe the air, and still can't park near your own house because someone from 3 states away wanted a waterfall selfie. That's not inconvenience. Transport struggles to hold on to people. Ohiopyle can't. Would you live somewhere peaceful if it got invaded every weekend? Yes or no? Like the video if you've ever lost a parking spot to someone who doesn't even live there. Subscribe, not for me, but so future you doesn't accidentally move somewhere that turns into a theme park every Saturday. Number 4. Frackville. There's a town in Pennsylvania where the ground beneath your house might not be as solid as you think. And the weird part? People just live with it. Frackville sits in the heart of Pennsylvania's anthracite coal region, a place built on mining, industry, and extraction. Population? Around 3,700 people. Median home price? Roughly $120,000 to $160,000. Cost of living? About 15% below the national average. Crime rate? Moderate. Nothing extreme, but not spotless either. On paper, it's affordable, stable, normal, but then you look under it. This entire region is layered with old coal mines, many abandoned, many undocumented. That creates a problem. Subsidence, ground shifting, unexpected sinkholes, structures slowly destabilizing over time. Not everywhere, not constant, but possible. And that possible changes everything. Add to that limited job growth, many traditional mining jobs gone, economic reliance on a shrinking industry, environmental scars that don't fully disappear. Surprisingly, the town still functions like nothing's wrong. Schools open, businesses run, life moves. What nobody tells you is, Frackville isn't ignoring the risk, it's adapting around it. Here's the tension. You get affordability, you get community, you get a place that still works. But there's always that background question. Is this stable or just stable for now? Because when your foundation is literally uncertain, every long-term decision feels different. Buy a house? Maybe. Invest in property? property? Risky. Stay long term? Depends. This is the only place where solid ground is more of a suggestion than a guarantee. Also, why are humans so comfortable living on top of questionable decisions? Like, we'll research a phone for 3 weeks, but live above abandoned mines like, yeah, this seems fine. Structurally vague, but fine. That's wild to me. Frackville's fine. You just don't ask too many questions about what's under your feet. And if you think living on unstable ground is unsettling, the next place didn't sit on uncertainty. It lost its entire identity to growth. Number 3, Mechanicsburg. There's a place in Pennsylvania where nothing feels wrong. And that's exactly what feels off. Mechanicsburg is clean, organized, functional. Population? Around 9,000 in the borough, but part of a much larger suburban spread. Median household income? About $70,000 to $80,000. Median home price? Roughly $280,000 to $350,000. Crime rate? Well below national average. On paper, this is a win. Safe, growing, predictable. But then, you zoom out. Mechanicsburg isn't just a town anymore. It's part of a rapidly expanding suburban network tied to the Harrisburg metro area. New developments, chain businesses, grid-like neighborhoods that repeat and repeat and repeat. Surprisingly, the growth is the feature and the problem, because the more it expands, the less distinct it becomes. Local shops get replaced by familiar brands. Unique spaces turn into optimized ones. And slowly, the town shifts from identity to efficiency. What nobody tells you is, Mechanicsburg doesn't feel built, it feels replicated. Here's the trade-off. You get safety, you get convenience, you get consistency, but you lose friction. And friction is where character lives. Because when everything works the same, everywhere starts to feel the same. This place didn't lose its identity by failing. It optimized it out of existence. Also, why do all suburban developments look like they were copy-pasted from the same blueprint? Same houses, same colors, same 3 trees trying their best. You could blindfold me, drop me in one of these neighborhoods, and I'd still guess correctly. Yeah, there's definitely a target within 7 minutes. It's not bad, it's just aggressively predictable. Picture this. You wake up, quiet street, clean sidewalks, identical houses stretching in both directions. You grab coffee from a place you've seen before, somewhere else. Drive past stores you recognize. Roads you've driven before, just in a different state. And for a second you wonder, are you living somewhere, or just passing through something designed to feel familiar? Number 2, Pithole. There was once a town in Pennsylvania that went from nothing to one of the largest cities in the state, and back to nothing in about 500 days. Not decades, not years, days. Pithole was born in 1865 during the oil boom. And when I say born, I mean instantly. At its peak, population estimates hit 15,000 plus people in less than a year. Hotels, banks, saloons, a theater, even its own newspaper. For context, that's faster growth than most modern cities have ever seen. But then the oil ran out, and everything collapsed. Population, 0. Active businesses, 0. Time as a functioning city, roughly 16 months. Surprisingly, it wasn't mismanaged. It was just temporary. What nobody tells you is, Pithole wasn't a community. It was a reaction. One historian described it like this. It wasn't built to last. It was built to extract and move on. Here's the part that messes with you. People invested everything into this place. Homes, businesses, futures, and then, overnight, it was gone. No slow decline, no warning phase, just opportunity to peak to collapse. Which means everyone who stayed too long paid for it. This wasn't a town. This was a pop-up city with commitment issues. Quick stat, Pithole grew faster than most startups, and had worse long-term viability. Also, imagine moving your entire life somewhere because it's the next big thing. New job, new house, new plan. And then a year later, it's like, yeah, that was it. Pack it up. No transition, no backup plan, just vibes and regret. That's not risk. That's speedrunning bad decisions. So yeah, McKeesport faded slowly. Pithole just said, we're not doing that. Speedrun it. Number 1, Eckley Miners. There's a town in Pennsylvania where nothing is abandoned, but almost nobody actually lives there. And that's not decay, that's intentional. Eckley Miners Village looks like a normal 1800s coal town. Wooden houses, dirt roads, quiet layout. Population? Technically near 0 full-time residents. Home values? Not really applicable. Most properties are preserved, not sold. Crime rate? Practically non-existent. Economy? Tourism, preservation, historical funding. On paper, it doesn't doesn't function like a town because it isn't one anymore. Eckley was once a real working mining town. Families lived here, worked here, built lives here. But then, the industry faded, and instead of letting the town collapse like Pithole, or decay slowly like McKeesport, they did something different. They froze it, preserved the buildings, maintained the layout, turned the entire place into a living museum. Surprisingly, it's been used in films because it doesn't need sets. It already looks like the past. What nobody tells you is, Eckley didn't survive. It transitioned. One visitor said, "It feels like people just stepped out for a minute and never came back." Here's the tension. You save the town, but you lose the life inside it. No real community growth, no evolving identity, no future, just preservation. It's history on loop. And that creates something strange. A place that's perfectly intact, but no longer alive. This is the only town where progress didn't stop. It got archived. Also, why do preserved towns always feel slightly haunted, even when they're not? Like everything's clean, maintained, quiet, too quiet. You ever notice that? No chaos, no noise, no randomness, just this perfect stillness that feels like it's waiting for something that's never coming back.